Hello, Tibbs here, Tibbs Gaming. Been a long time since I've done one of these videos. Kind of had some life changes going on, but here with another one. Today we're going to open up a box of Ikoria, and I have one extra box topper from a box that I opened to draft. So let's get started. We'll go ahead and start with the box toppers here. Two of them to open. So we got a Dorat, the perfect pet. Cute little fairy dragon. Kind of like the card. Probably not the most exciting box topper that's out there. I honestly haven't really looked at the list, so I don't really know what to even look for, but that was fun. Our second one is Ghidorah, King of the Cosmos. One of the Godzilla promos. It's a mythic. Green, blue, red, and 2 generic. For a 6/6 legendary beast elemental dinosaur. Flying trample, whenever it mutates, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land permanent card. Put that card onto the battlefield or into your hand. I've seen this be pretty good in some drafts and a couple brawl decks I've seen online, so it's definitely fun, and the Godzilla cards are kind of cool. I literally have not opened a pack of this set, so I had no idea that the tokens were on top. That's a little strange. Oh, and then the foil 3 cards down? That's just weird. Oh, it's basically backwards and then rare. Okay. That's odd. Alright. Dismal Backwater, Foil Mountain, getting the foils early. Genesis Ultimatum. Kind of on a color theme so far. Blue red, green blue red, green blue red. Sorcery, look at the top 5 cards of your library. Put any number of permanent cards from among them onto the battlefield and the rest into your hand. Exile Genesis Ultimatum. Definitely a card I want to play around with in Commander. Will the All Hunter, Easy Prey, and Cunning Night Bonder at uncommon. Some commons. Like I said, haven't really looked at the set enough to even know if there are very many exciting commons. Just kind of winging it here. Oh, the punch-out tokens. Those are cool. Forgot they existed. So no foil. We got a Sea Dasher Octopus. God, that's just gonna throw me off the backwards packs. I've tried to make this guy work in draft and haven't had much luck yet, but can get you a card here and there. Mutates for 1 and a blue. Whenever it deals damage, draw a card. So nice little combat trick, sort of. Zagoth Crystal, Splendor Mare, and a Sonorous Howl Bonder. Oh, I forgot that there's alternate art commons. Got a Cavern Whisperer. I don't think there were any in the first pack. Human Soldier Token. Swiftwater Cliffs. And an Unpredictable Cyclone. One of those expensive red enchantments with lots and lots of text. Might be fun. If a cycling ability of another known land card will cause you to draw a card, instead exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a card that shares a card type with the cycled card. You may cast that card without paying its mana cost, then put the exiled cards that weren't cast this way on the bottom of your library in a random order. And it's got cycling itself, so if you have multiples in your deck, or if you draw it too early and don't have the mana, things like that. Bastion of Remembrance, Barrier Breach, and a alternate art Porcupine. That's kind of cool. Different human soldier token. Mountain and a foil Ivy Elemental. That's uncommon. Enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it. Kind of plays nice with Mutate. And Labyrinth Raptor as the rare black and a red for a 2/2 menace. Whenever a creature you control with menace becomes blocked, defending player sacrifices a creature blocking it. So I think that's a really fun card. That and I've kind of tried to build around menace in draft a few times, and it came out to be a pretty fun deck. Zagoth Mamba, Trumpeting Gnar, and Heartless Act. Oh wow, a third different human soldier token. How many arts did they print? I don't even know. Forced and Obosh, the Prey Piercer, one of the now errated companions. 3 and then 2 black-red hybrid for a 3/5. If a source you control with an odd converted mana cost would deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals double that damage to that permanent or player instead. It can be your companion if your starting deck contains only cards with odd converted mana costs and land cards. So, not the hardest one to build around, but also not easy. Got a alternate art Migratory Greathorn there. Is that a fort? Nope, that's one of the same human soldiers. Thornwood Falls. Oh, alternate art Mythic. Nethroi Apex of Death. 2 generic white, black, and a green for a 5/5. Legendary Cat Nightmare Beast. It's got Mutate for a total of 7. And Death Touch Lifelink. Whenever this creature mutates, return any number of target creature cards with total power 10 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. This card is fun. I don't know, maybe fun's not even the right word. I've played against it a lot in Brawl, and it gets brutal. There's a lot of 0 power printed creatures and things like that. You can make total power of 10 go a long ways if you build around this guy. Avian Oddity, Blitz the Thunder Raptor, Alert Heedbonder. Kahira, the Orphan Guard, our second companion. 1 generic, 2 green and white hybrid, legendary Cat Beast. Each other creature you control that's a cat, elemental, nightmare, dinosaur, or beast gets +1/+1 and vigilance. Another cat lord if you want to just use it that way, or dinosaur for that matter. And it plays nice with a few pretty popular tribes. Beasts, say, elementals, so definitely can find some homes, I think. Titanoth Rex, Wingspan Mentor, Boneyard Lurker. And then a Lava Brink Venturer. 2 generic and a white for a 3/3. When it enters the battlefield, choose odd or even. Has protection from each converted mana cost of the chosen value. So, we're doing a lot of odd, even stuff in this set. There's a lot of protection from mana costs lately. It's kind of a cool concept. Beast, we got away from our human soldiers. Quartzwood Crasher. 2 generic, 2 red and a green, or a 6/6 trample. Whenever one or more creatures you control with trample deal combat damage to a player, create an XX green dinosaur beast creature token with trample, where X is the amount of damage those creatures dealt to that player. So that's a fun little dinosaur right there. I don't think I've actually seen that played yet, but Momentum Rumbler, Blitz the Thunder Raptor, another Cunning Night Ponder. Another alternate art Cavern Whisperer. Human Soldier. Jungle Hollow. Oh, got a foil. Call of the Death Dweller. 2 generic and a black for a sorcery. Return up to 2 target creature cards with total converted mana cost 3 or less from graveyard to the battlefield. Put a Death Touch counter on either of them, then put a Menace counter on either of them. That's fun. I just played this earlier and it did not hit me at the time that you can put the counters on the same creature. Classification: 5 and 2 green for an enchant creature, and just battlefield tap the enchanted creature, and then it gets +20/+20. Kind of a cool card if you have some way to protect the creature. Could be fun, but paying 7 mana to get 2 for 1 is not fun. Will the All Hunt, Zagoth Crystal, and a alternate art Auspicious Starix. Kind of a fun card. Whenever it mutates, exile cards from the top of your library into exile X permanent cards, where X is the number of times this creature has mutated. Put those permanent cards onto the battlefield. I just played this in an arena draft a little bit ago and felt like I hit lands every time, but it's still, it's free lands into play. Can't really complain. Oh, not a token. Tranquil Cove and another foil. Uncommon Parcel Beast. 2 generic, a green and a blue for a 2/4. And you can pay 1, tap it, look at the top card of your library. If it's a land card, you may put it onto the battlefield. If you don't put the card into your hand, if you don't put the card onto the battlefield, put it into your hand. So some nice card advantage for blue-green. Oh, and Kogla, the Titan Ape, the King Kong that didn't get a King Kong alternate because legal reasons or something. I don't know. This card is good. 3 generic, 3 green for a 7/6 legendary ape. When it enters the battlefield, fights up to 1 target creature you don't control. Whenever it attacks, destroy target artifact or enchantment defending player controls. Pay 2, return, generic and a green, return target human you control to its owner's hand. Kogla gains indestructible until end of turn. So you can dodge removal if you got some humans. Migration Path, fight as 1, another sonorous howl bonder. Wow, can't pronounce words today. Noticing that the packs are really loose. There's a lot of air. I feel like that was a thing with another set, and maybe that set also had the cards backwards. Something about where they're printed. I don't know. Luminous Brood Mothra. Not this isn't the Mothra version, obviously, but 2 generic, 2 white, 3/4 flying. Insect. Whenever a creature you control without flying dies, returns to the battlefield under its owner's control with a flying counter on it. I had an opponent play one of these against me in my last draft, and I kept using removal on other creatures, totally forgetting this existed. It felt like the most mistakes I've ever made in a single game, but I'm sure I've done worse. Another Crystal, Splendor Mare, Heat Bonder. And we've got Crystalline Giant. 3 for a 3/3 artifact creature giant. At the beginning of combat on your turn, choose a kind of counter at random that Crystalline Giant doesn't have on it from among Flying, First Strike, Death Touch, Hexproof, Lifelink, Menace, Reach, Trample, Vigilance, and +1/+1. Put a counter of that kind on Crystalline Giant. It's a cool card. I like the concept of just a random ability each turn. I like the alternate art one as well. Maybe we'll get one later. Oh, a dinosaur token. I don't remember if I've opened one of those yet. Whirlwind of Thought. 1 generic, blue, red, white. Enchantment. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, draw a card. Jeskai and its non-creature spell theme. I mean, it fits right in. I'm sure it'll find homes in decks and all that jazz. Monstrous Step. Oh, I had not seen this one yet. The Pouncing Shore Shark alternate art. It's kind of cool. Skull Prophet. Oh, foil Unlikely Aid. Ooh, got a Planeswalker there. Luca, Copper Coat Outcast. 3 generic, 2 red. Legendary Planeswalker Luca. Starts with 5 loyalty. +1, exile the top 3 cards of your library. Creature cards exiled this way gain you may cast this card from exile as long as you control a Luca Planeswalker. -2, exile target creature you control. Then reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a creature card with higher converted mana cost. Put that card onto the battlefield and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. -7, each creature you control deals damage equal to its power to each opponent. So it could definitely be a win condition in some decks. Commander, I don't know. Stormwild Caprador, a bird goat. There's some goofy creature types happening in this set. Bastion of Remembrance, Huntmaster Liger. Oh, another alternate art there, the Volpakit, Foxbird. Mutates for 2 generic and white, 2/3 flyer, costs 3 generic and white to cast. Whenever it mutates, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Some more punch-out tokens. I really want lots of these. Like, the whole box could just be these, except there are 3 different arts for human soldiers, so that's kind of cool. Got a rare Mythos of Nethroi. Destroy target non-land permanent if it's a creature or if green-white was spent to cast this spell. The Mythos cards are odd. I don't know, they're just messing with my head. I can't decide if I like them or not. This one I think is probably my favorite of the bunch. Black, green, white, destroy target non-land permanent. It's pretty good. So. Reconnaissance Mission, General's Enforcer, and a regular Porky Parrot. And, ooh, alternate art, Everquill Phoenix. Pretty cool looking. It's a 2 generic, 2 red for a 4/4 Phoenix. Or you can mutate for 3 generic and a red. It's got flying. Whenever it mutates, create a red artifact token named Feather with 1 sacrifice Feather. Return target Phoenix card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. I'm not sure if Phoenix Tribal is a thing yet, but I mean, obviously the feather can just be used to bring this guy back when it dies, but could be some other fun things to play around with there. Last pack of the first half, we have a cat token, lifelink, 1/1. Bloodfell Caves, and another foil, Dranith Stinger, 1 generic and a red for a 2/2 human wizard. Whenever you cycle another card, Dranith Stinger deals 1 damage to each opponent, and it cycles for 1. Death's Oasis. White, black, green for an enchantment. Whenever a non-token creature you control dies, put the top 2 cards of your library into your graveyard, then return a creature card with lesser converted mana cost than the creature that died from your graveyard to your hand. That is a lot of words. Pay 1, sacrifice Death's Oasis. You gain life equal to the greatest converted mana cost among creatures you control. Could have saved a few words. Maybe it'll get a reprint now that they've keyworded mill with the next upcoming Jumpstart. Call the Death Dweller Avian Oddity and a alternate art Trumpeting Gnar. Guy is 1 generic, a green, and a blue for a 3/3 beast, or you can mutate it for 3 generic and then 2 green-blue hybrid. Whenever this creature mutates, create a 3/3 green beast creature token. So, nice way to kind of go wide in a mutate deck, which is nice because mutates, sometimes stacking them all up, you end up a little narrow. I guess it would be the opposite of wide. Not Dinosaur, Bloodfell Caves, and Kinnan, Bonder Prodigy. Green-blue for a 2/2 legendary human druid. Mythic, whenever you tap a non-land permanent for mana, add 1 mana of any type that permanent produced. Pay 5, a green and a blue. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may put a non-human creature card from among them onto the battlefield. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. This guy is pretty popular in Brawl on Arena at the moment, and I am not a fan of blue in Brawl at the moment. I like to play with my own cards, and blue's doing a lot of not having that, so anything with blue in Brawl right now I'm kind of sad about, but it's a nice mythic. Weaponized monsters, Indatha Crystal, Frillscare Mentor. There's a lot of variation in the art style with this set. Kind of makes it feel a little bit like the older sets back in the day. They weren't as homogenized. I keep thinking that's the back, and it's just no. Swamp, got a foil coming. Fiend Artisan, oh, a foil mythic, that's always nice. 2 green-black hybrid for a 1/1. Gets +1/+1 for each creature card in your graveyard. Pay X and a green-black hybrid. Tap it, sacrifice another creature. Search your library for a creature card with converted mana cost X or less. Put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. Activate this ability only anytime you could cast a sorcery. I really like this card, and I don't think I've seen it used that effectively yet, but it does a lot of things that I like, so I might have to try something with it at some point. Oh, and then an Indatha Triumph for the rare. The Plain Swamp Forest enters tapped, cycle for 3. First Triumph of the box. Triumphs are cool. That'll go into my Atraxa commander deck for sure. Flourishing Fox, Savai Crystal, Sprite Dragon. Oh, that's the Dorat, the perfect pet. Okay, I did not put that together till now. Both cool arts. And we've got Gigantha the Wellspring, 3rd companion of the 5, 4, and then a red-green hybrid for a 5/5 legendary elemental elk. Its companion requirement is that no card in your starting deck has more than 1 of the same mana symbol in its mana cost. And then it, taps to add 1 mana of each color. Cannot be used to pay generic mana costs. So, seen this guy quite a bit in Brawl as a commander, or as a companion. Less so now that they changed the rules, but he's still around. Void Beckoner, Auspicious Starks, and the alternate art Necropanther. Generic white-black, 3/3 Cat Nightmare, mutates for 2 generic and then 2 white-black hybrid. Whenever this creature mutates, return target creature card with converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. So he fits in with that little white-black theme they have going in this set, along with the companion of low converted mana cost stuff. Zerda, the Dawnwaker. Sorry. Wakes the dawn, doesn't make the dawn. Get it right. 1 generic, 2 red-white hybrid, 3/3 legendary elemental fox. Its companion requirement is that each permanent card in your starting deck has an activated ability, so that's not all that hard to do. Abilities you activate that aren't mana abilities cost 2 less to activate. This effect can't reduce the mana in that cost to less than 1 mana. So that's kind of fun. I don't think I've seen it yet much in Brawl, but maybe in some older formats it can find some uses. You pay 1, tap it, target creature can't block this turn. Boon of the Wish Giver, Monstrous Step, another Skull Prophet. Phase Dolphin, foil common there. 2 generic and a blue for a 1/4. Whenever it attacks, another target attacking creature can't be blocked this turn. And Hunted Nightmare. 2 black and a generic for a 4/5 Nightmare. It's got Menace, and when it enters the battlefield, target opponent puts a Death Touch creature on a creature they control. Haven't seen this much, and I can kind of see why. Giving your opponent Death Touch on a creature, you better have a plan, I guess. Wingspan Mentor, Glowstone Recluse, and an alternate art Parcel Beast. It's the guy that can look at the top card and put a land on the battlefield, otherwise in your hand. I just realized with the last pack that these have this little tear strip I've been neglecting to use, although I'm not a huge fan of the way they work anyway. Umori the Collector. I can't remember if that's all 5 companions now. Oh, it's at least 4. This is the one I've been trying to build around. 2 generic black-green, and then 2 black-green hybrid for 4/5. Legendary Ooze. Its requirement is that each non-land card in your starting deck shares a card type. So, all creatures, all planeswalkers. Yes, I'm trying to build planeswalkers. There's not quite enough of them in black-green at the moment for Brawl. Sorry. Enters the battlefield, choose a card type. Spells you cast to the chosen type cost 1 less to cast. Fun card. Hasn't proven as effective as I want it to yet, but it is good. More of my little tokens. Mythos of Vadrock. The Mythos. 2 generic, 2 red. Deals 5 damage, divided as you choose among any number of target creatures and/or planeswalkers. If white-blue was spent to cast the spell, until your next turn, those permanents can't attack or block, and their activated abilities can't be activated. Not sure how to feel about this one. I don't know. It's a card. Ominous Seas. Unbreakable Bond and a Regal Leosaur. Alternate art there. Red-white for a 2/2. Mutates for a generic, and then 2 red-white hybrid. Whenever it mutates, other creatures you control get +2/+1 until end of turn. I really like that there's a random comment on the front of one of the booster packs. And we got, a foil Ruinous Ultimatum. 2 red, 3 white, 2 black for a sorcery. Destroy all non-land permanents your opponents control. I don't have a commander deck at the moment for this to go into, but when I do, it shall do exactly that, because who doesn't like blowing up all of everyone else's stuff? Then a Slitherwisp. Blue 2 black for a 3/2 Elemental Nightmare. Has Flash. Whenever you cast another spell that has Flash, you draw 1 card and each opponent loses 1 life. This is another card that I feel like I haven't seen before right now. I really should have looked into this set more, I guess, but just didn't have the time. Escape Protocol, Valiant Rescuer, Grim Dancer. Dinosaur Beast token might be the first of those. And we've got Karuga, the Macro Sage. So this tells me that we did not have all 5 of the companions, but I think I do now. 3 generic, 2 green-blue hybrid. For a legendary creature, Dinosaur Hippo. If you're wondering what I just did, I apparently I'm losing my mind. The type line of this card seems crooked to me. I don't think it is, but I can't unsee it. I don't know. Anyway, your starting deck contains only cards with converted mana cost 3 or greater and land cards. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card for each other permanent you control with converted mana cost 3 or greater. This guy feels hard to build around because sitting there every single game for 2 turns saying go. I mean, there's a few ways around it, but for the most part, it's 2 turns of draw go, and that feels bad. Boon of the Wishgiver, Majestic Auricorn, and Heartless Act. And a non-foil Ruinous Ultimatum. So, more blowing up of everyone's things. Swallowhole, Polywog Symbiote, Clash of Titans. Cool name. Target creature fights another target creature as an instant. I mean, it is good. You can take out potentially 2 of their guys depending on power and toughness and abilities and those things, but it's nice that you can hit 2 of other people's creatures. You don't have to include one of your own in the fight. Got a Narset emblem. Island. Did we get a Narset to go with the emblem? No. Mythos of Illuna. 2 blue, 2 generic. Sorcery, create a token that's a copy of a target permanent. If red and green was spent to cast this spell, instead create a token that's a copy of that permanent, except the token has when this permanent enters the battlefield. If it's a creature, it fights up to 1 target creature you don't control. So another generic blue copy spell. If you pay red and green also, it fights, which is nice. Dark Fang Mentor, Ivy Elemental, Channeled Force. Alternate art, Dreamtail Heron. Shark Token. And we've got Nethroi, Apex of Death. We already had one of these. It was a foil or alternate art or something. But still a cool card. Neutralize, Flame Spill, and Archipelagoer. And a foil Blitz Leech. 5 and a black. Or 5/2 flash. And just battlefield, target creature an opponent controls gets -2/-2 onto the turn, and remove all counters from that creature. So, kind of a fun little card. Ooh. And a alternate art Triome. That's cool. Mountain Plains Swamp. Savai Triome. It's a pretty cool one. Looking art. I like that one. It's very comic booky, a lot of the alternate. Not sure if that's the best word for the style, but that's what I'm going with. Lead Stampede, Keensight Mentor, Footfall Crater. We've got Offspring's Revenge. 2 generic red, white, black enchantment. At the beginning of combat on your turn, exile target red, white, or black creature card from your graveyard. Create a token that's a copy of that card, except it's 1/1. It gains haste until your next turn. I guess this could be cool with the right bunch of enters the battlefield creatures or something, but it becoming a 1/1, not my favorite card. Call of the Death Dweller, charges Forever Beast. Chittering Harvester, the alternate art. 5 generic and a black for a 4/6 nightmare. Has mutate for 4 generic and a black. Whenever it mutates, each opponent sacrifices a creature. So, cool alternate art. Foil, Gust of Wind. It's common, 3 generic and a blue for a sorcery. Costs 2 less to cast if you control a creature with flying. Return target non-land permanent you don't control to its owner's hand and draw a card. So, very efficient card if you have a flyer. Would be great if it was an instant, but Mythos of Snapdax. 2 generic, 2 white. Each player chooses an artifact, a creature, an enchantment, and a planeswalker from among the non-land permanents they control, and then sacrifices the rest. If black and red were spent to cast this spell, you choose the permanents for each player instead. So, nice variant of balance with the board wipe, with you making the choices. Feels really good for 4 mana, but 3 colors. Rogrin Crystal, Dire Tactics, and a Zenith Flare. And we've got Yorion Sky Nomad, which means I was wrong, because that's another companion. Oh, there's 10, aren't there? Math is hard. Are there 10? I don't even know now. 3 generic, and then 2 white blue. Legendary Bird Serpent, 4/5. Starting deck contains at least 20 more than the minimum deck size, which means it is useless in Commander and Brawl. Flying, when it enters the battlefield, exile any number of other non-land permanents you own and control. Return those cards to the battlefield at the beginning of the next end step. Flash would probably make it too good, but I still really wish it had Flash. I could slide it into like a Brago commander deck. I don't know how to pronounce that one. I say Brago. Sanctuary Lockdown, Exuberant Wolf Bear, Lord Dracus. A foil extended art. That's exciting. What do we got? Gem Razor. So that is a rare. 3 generic and a green for a 4/4 beast. Mutates for 1 generic, 2 green. Has reach and trample. And whenever it mutates, destroy target artifact or enchantment an opponent controls. So, it's a cool foil alternate art there. Nice pull. And Luris of the Dream Den, one of the 10 companions, now that I remember there are 10. Generic 2 white black hybrid for a 3/2. It's probably the most played of the companions at the moment. Its requirement is each permanent card in your starting deck has converted mana cost 2 or less, has lifelink, and during each of your turns you may cast 1 permanent spell with converted mana cost 2 or less from your graveyard. Pairs up nicely with a lot of little light black creatures with enters the battlefield or dies triggers. So, Reptilian Reflection back for more, and Proud Wild Bonder. Alternate art Cloud Piercer. And last pack we have a foil Windscarred Crag. Not the most exciting foil, but I mean, it is what it is. And another Triumph. I think that's 2 Triumphs for the box. No, I think it's 3. I think there was... Anyway, I think 3. Island Mountain Plains. Horn Bash Mentor, Sanctuary Smasher, Primal Empathy. And that will do it for this box. Thanks for watching. I should be back with another box soon. Hope to do these more consistently than I had been. So, thanks again. Subscribe if you want to see more.